everybody. This is your three-man booth. We're going to predominantly talk about the NFL, but there's a couple other sports topics that are worth mentioning today. I'm Dan Salem. Phil and Bud, welcome back, guys. Did you have a good week?
Yeah, not bad. It's starting to warm up over here in the Northeast. Spring's this week, so we're looking forward to getting rid of all the snow and finally getting outside again.
Golf season's only a short 10 days away.
That's true.
Very good, very good. I'm not a golfer, even though I sort of want to be, but not really. But we had some nice weather this week. I got to the beach, which was good.
Yeah, we saw the Instagram post. Dan lives on the beach.
Must be nice. Sunsets and sand.
Mm-hmm. So we had a quiet week in the NFL, more or less.
Well, it depends where you were, because in the Northeast, Gettleman's been getting killed all over the place. Over here, all over the place.
Nobody's coming to his defense. He did sign Golden Tate, who was the best free agent wide receiver.
No one's actually. I haven't even heard about that.
It makes no sense.
Well,
let me rephrase my statement. I heard about that, but I'm saying I haven't heard of anybody say yay or nay about it. They're all focusing on the Beckham trade and the Eli thing.
So this is what that meant to me, and then I'll give you guys can give me your thoughts because you're more in it. That said to me that they dumped what they deemed as a locker room problem and someone who wasn't bought into the rebuild in favor of someone who's maybe Beckham's like A+ and Tate's a B+ with an A- potential depending on the right offense. Like, because he kind of sucked last year. He was really good the season before. But he's known for like, he's almost like soft-spoken. You don't even know anything about him, which is probably what they wanted. It seems like they're going to try to go for it this year, even though they dumped their best player or their former best player. So
it's weird. One day they're tanking, the next day they're going for it. The next day they're tanking, the next day they're going to make a run again with one more run with Eli. I will say this: the offensive line is a vast improvement than it was last year. With Zeitler coming on. Hernandez has another year. They re-signed their center. So that offense, and I think there's one more guy. There's one more right tackle that they're looking at, which they may or may not get. That offensive line that was such a huge problem and such the butt of every joke for the last 2.5 years will not be the case this year. That's one area that at least you can't kill them for that. They've been doing all they can to improve that offensive line, and as we all know, it starts in the trenches. So. Is that to protect Eli more? Is it to give Saquon more protection? That remains to be seen. But it's you have to build a team from the inside out, not the outside in.
I don't know if you guys. My brother wrote a really nice piece for BuzzChomp about the Giants and that the fact that they have a very clear plan, even if it's a bad plan. And so I don't know if you got to see it, but
not yet. I'll read it tomorrow.
But he pointed out how Gettleman did the exact same thing. Was it in Jacksonville or Carolina, wherever he was before?
Carolina.
He got rid of all the star players that were personalities and like me first, at least in perception.
Was this before or after the Super Bowl run?
I don't know the timing of it. He just rattled off like all the stars that were in Carolina that they dumped when Gettleman was there, and now he's doing the same thing with the Giants. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe this is just his thing.
It was D'Angelo Williams was one, Josh Norman, which you're gonna ask me. I think he's the most overrated, defensive player in the league. But so you're not gonna get an argument from me on that one. I just be curious at the time. I'll definitely check it out tomorrow.
Yeah, and every single thing individually is a very defensible move. It's the collective that makes you wonder what's going on.
Yeah, well, and to be quite honest, we really can't get a sense of this for another 5 weeks. We really have to wait till after the draft. Then you can see, all right, what's the plan? What's the path? Right now, we're all speculating and guessing. He obviously knows what he's trying to accomplish. Whether or not it's the right thing to do or not, that remains to be seen. But no one can really give an honest opinion about this until the draft happens. Because if they don't take a quarterback with that first pick, I mean, that's going to be a whole nother narrative. If he does, then all right, well, now this is the plan. We just don't know at the moment.
Yeah. So Bud, you listen to a lot of talk radio. What are they saying?
Oh, they're killing him. I know that. I know for sure.
Well, it depends on who you listen to. So, like, if you listen to Francesa, which I don't listen to Francesa, he's like borderline protecting Gettleman, but at the same time, he loves Eli, right? So it's one of those fickle situations where if you listen to Michael Kay, which is who I listen to on the way home from work,
he probably kills him.
Oh, they're killing him. Killing him is an understatement. And I agree with Phil. Like if they draft a quarterback in the first round, this is a moot point, right? And if they have a legitimate plan, it's a moot point. But this guy's all over the place.
So they're roasting.
One day he's saying one thing, and then a couple of days later he comes out and completely contradicts himself and says that he thinks that Eli's got a lot left, and maybe he does. But I mean, he had the highest completion percentage of his career last year, but none of his passes 8 yards and further, he had the lowest percentage of his career. So everything was being thrown short and stacking up his numbers. He can't throw the ball down the field anymore. And getting rid of OBJ is, I mean, that's fine. It's a headache in the locker room. I've been saying it for years. So,
well, they could in principle run a dink and dunk like the New England style offense if they have the right personnel. I'm not sure that they do.
They don't have it, and they don't have the personnel, and they don't have the coaching, and they don't have the philosophy that New England does. As much as I hate to say it,
if they were really going to run it back with Eli Manning though, and not draft a quarterback, don't you think they would have signed one of these backups? Like, I mean, Bortles going to the Rams as a backup was a smooth move. No one even sniffed him. Tannehill's the backup now. Where'd he go? Or no, he's the backup wherever. He already got picked up as a backup.
He's the backup in Tennessee to Mariota.
Yeah, right, in Tennessee.
Which makes sense because Mariota seems to be hurt every year.
Yeah.
But so
I just don't trust Eli Manning to stay healthy, let alone whether he has enough to play another 2 or 3 years. Just because he's so like,
but he's always been durable, and I mean he's only missed one game, and that was because
that was a coaching personnel decision.
Took him
like
out.
As you get older, it's harder and harder to stay on the field. But so if they're really roasting Gettleman, is there a way he loses his job after the season? Like,
if they blow it.
Well, no.
It's already been awful 2 years ago.
If they blow it, then you're going to draft Tua Tagovailoa or whatever his name is next year. It's almost like he can't lose because if with all the moves you made this year to at least stabilize the team, if you run off 6, 7, 8, God forbid 8 wins next year, well then it looks like you're a genius. If you make all these moves and you don't do very well, everyone's like, well, that's what they should have done in the first place. It's almost like a no-lose situation, to be quite honest with you.
But we talked about this last week, Phil. Like,
believe me, I don't want to sit through another 3-win season. Don't get me wrong. I do not want to do that.
It's nothing to do with that. If your plan is to go after Tua next year, and you're going to write out Eli, and you're going to draft defense, and you're going to do that and this, that, and the other thing, that's I mean, you're playing with fire.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have to wait until that 6th pick is announced because if it's not a quarterback, then the plan is clear. They're waiting until next year to draft a quarterback. Right. That means that they don't like any of these guys in the draft.
You're assuming that Tua stays healthy and is as
good
no,
of course.
A year later.
It's not just Tua. It's the guy in Oregon too. From what I heard, if Herbert or Hubert, if he came out this year, that's who the Giants really wanted. But him going back to school kind of threw a monkey wrench in his.
Now, I saw a report that Arizona met with Murray today. So like,
are you surprised?
No, not at all. I mean, they got to take a meeting just to throw people around, anyways. But do you think the Giants have an interest in Rosen if he actually is available?
No one's even mentioned that yet. With all the scenarios that have been thrown around, nobody's even mentioned that. I think that's really going to come to fruition if they actually draft Kyler Murray in the first round, because then all of a sudden Josh Rosen's available.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's this 5 weeks is going to be so long. It really is.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's all going to be speculation for the next 5 weeks. It's all speculation.
I know, and so yeah, go ahead.
What do you think it would take to get Rosen? Second round?
A second or third rounder? Yeah, let me tell you this. If they stupidly take their first round pick and package it with another one to move up, then I think it's asinine. Completely asinine to do that.
So you like them to keep their 6th and 17th picks?
Yes. There's no reason to move up. Yeah. If you don't get a quarterback this year, if you didn't like him, all right, well maybe they get that kid from Duke, Locke. Locke. Drew Locke, I think his name is. Have him sit behind Eli if you need to for a year. They're there's no, as we've said in the last bunch of weeks here, there's no Andrew Luck in this draft. There's no Peyton Manning in this draft. There's no surefire, you have to get this guy in this draft.
What makes me laugh is there are three bona fide star defensive players that everyone agrees all three of them are probably studs. I don't see how the first three teams pass on any of them.
So you know what's interesting too. If the Cardinals take Allen, and like you said last week, if the Raiders take Haskins, well, one of these great defensive players are going to fall to the Giants at 6.
Yeah, it's not.
More importantly, they're going to fall to the Jets.
Yeah. Well, they're going to get one anyway.
If Nick Bosa is still on the board,
he won't be.
Got to take 3,
but
right?
But he could be.
He won't. No, the Niners will take him. You can lock that in right now. Unless someone trades up to 2, but if they don't, the Niners are taking Nick Bosa. That's my prediction.
You don't think they go with? Yeah, I mean, he seems to be rated significantly above the other two guys. I'm blanking on the other two guys' names right now, but
Quentin Wilson is the one that the Jets are projected to pick.
Yeah, he's the kid from Kentucky, right?
Is it Kentucky or Alabama? I was looking earlier and I forget.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's Quentin something. I forget his last name, but that's the one who the Jets are projected to get.
All three will slot in nicely to the Jets' defense. It's basically their main weakness. All three of those guys fill it. So, I mean, I'm happy no matter what they do at 3 at this point.
So let me ask a question to both of you. So the Jets have obviously been very active, and I think people are pretty happy with where they're going. They still have $38 million under the cap to spend. What do they
have to spend it?
No,
but they don't do anything.
Okay.
But I mean, but there are clearly other players that are out there that, Justin Houston's out there.
You can go get Vontaze Burfict.
No, you don't want to.
I think they sign a cornerback and another wide receiver before it's all done with. If I had to guess.
You think they sign a corner? Well, they lost Buster Screen. No loss there, by the way.
Yeah. Well, they picked up some. They already picked up one. I forget who they picked up. But
Well, Dallas just picked up Randall Cobb, so Randall Cobb's off the market.
Oh.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not sure the Jets are going to sign any. I could see them signing one more player before the draft. They really need depth at wide receiver and corner, and then the secondary. There's a lot of sleeper names out there that they're just kind of teetering around.
The well is starting to dry up really fast, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the offensive line situation is left. I think the Jets have a meeting with center this week, next week. So that's a position of real need for them. I'd be shocked if they don't have center.
But didn't they meet with the center from Denver?
Yeah, but he signed somewhere else, right? Already?
I don't know.
I thought so. Because he was like the prize center free agent. It's hard to keep. I don't know the lineman names, unfortunately, but
that's also the benefit of waiting, because so many teams go out there and they spend so much money the first day of free agency. Now is when you're going to start getting your discounted rates and your players that might take a little less because no one signed them yet. There was a period of time last year when Richard Sherman didn't get signed for a while, and there was one other defensive player that used to play in Seattle that took forever to get signed. So, and like you said, Justin Houston's available now, so there's still a couple names out there.
And we're seeing a lot of the retirements roll in now too. So, like you kind of.
Who's the one on top of Mount Kilimanjaro yet today?
Nada.
Oh yeah, Haloti Ngata, right? Now that's a good way to announce your retirement. That's a good one.
No, oh, go ahead.
Do you think you could hike to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro?
Dan could.
But Dan lives in California and he's fit. I'm asking you. Do you think that you could hike to the top of a mountain?
How high is Mount Kilimanjaro?
It's like the 3rd tallest mountain in the world.
Do I have to do it all in one shot, or so I can take a break?
You stop and sleep along the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it takes you like a little while to get up there, Phil.
I could probably do it.
So you make it, whether you make
if a 350-pound lineman can do it, I think I can do it.
Well, there's a lot of people that make it to the top of Everest, but they die up there. So,
Yeah, well,
they can't get down.
Right. So if that's how he retired, and I really believe Gronk's going to retire, he's got to like one up him, right? He's got to do something total Gronkowski-ish and like have like a 50-woman party boat retirement.
Sounds fun.
That's another thing. I haven't heard a peep out of that at all right now. And you would think if you're going to do that, at least let your team know that it's going into the draft here to say, all right, I'm leaving. You may want to, get your backup plan ready.
Well,
but I haven't heard a peep.
There was something on Yahoo, I think, or AOL Sports or something. I forgot where I read it. But his agent came out and said that he's really like debating because he's got other things that he wants to do, and he's losing out on those things because his body's going through a lot. I mean, I'm with Dan. I think he's done.
He looked so uncomfortable at the end of last season. It's like you can only put yourself through that for so long before it's too much.
He could barely run. We say it every week. He runs like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no good.
That's
That's not a compliment.
No. So this is interesting. So obviously, if the Patriots lose him, that'll be big for them. None of us are probably concerned that they're not going to overcome the loss of Gronkowski, but everyone's really debating whether the Steelers are going to be significantly worse or not. So I want to pose that because the Steelers look like they lost a lot. Those Chiefs look like they lost a lot.
The Chiefs, oh man, I think the Chiefs are going to take a nosedive. As much as I love Patrick Mahomes and that offense, if this Tyreek Hill thing ends up being anything, this is going to – I mean, you lost Hunt. You can't sustain with the loss of Hill too, and Justin Houston and Dee Ford. I mean, they're going to take a huge nosedive, I think. And who? Oh, Eric Berry too, right. They wow.
I kind of
think of it. They were one play away from being in the Super Bowl. One play.
Well, that was Jacksonville the year before.
Yeah.
I mean, most of their offense ran through Hunt and Tyreek Hill, right? So Hunt's gone, and he's suspended for the first 8 games.
Kelsey was really, I mean, he's far and away tight end.
But listen, when you had those 4 players on the field, they were a much different team.
Yeah.
I mean, they were unstoppable with those 4 players on the team. And if this Tyreek Hill thing is actually true, Chiefs got to let him go immediately too. And then that'll be another one where nobody wants to touch him because he's already got issues.
He's already been in trouble once. I forget what it was, but I remember him being caught for something in the past, and it's slipping my mind. But the interesting thing was when the Hunt thing happened, he was released like that day. They wasted no time. This has been at least 4 or 5 days already. I've heard nothing since.
They obviously don't know the details or what happened.
He's clearly got some issues, and if you remember carefully, when Adrian Peterson was suspended for a full year, it was because he hit his kid, right?
Yeah.
So if the story is true with what Tyreek Hill is being accused of, that's not okay.
It's no good.
No, his son is probably 2 years old, which all of our kids are about 2 years old. I mean, could you imagine doing that? I mean,
no, I can't. And that makes me think, like, does he have precursors of CTE and stuff that's like making him irrationally angry? Because it's only a 2-year-old. Like, they don't know what's going on in the world. So
they have no idea what's going on. There should be no reason why your finger should be even near them. But that's a whole different other story.
I agree.
But the bottom line is that even if it's true, he's going to get cut. And then if Adrian Peterson got suspended for a year, this guy's going to get suspended for a year, clearly.
Yeah.
And then at that point, he's done, right? I mean, chances are somebody's going to take a flyer on him, and they could probably get him for cheap. But do you really want that headache? I mean, do you remember what Adrian Peterson went through when he came back? Everybody was, protesting and this, that, and the other. I mean, I don't know if a team wants to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland seems up for it. The Bengals have always been up for it. Otherwise, there's not many other teams that are up for it.
But Cleveland's in a very unique situation where they don't need Kareem Hunt.
Right.
Kareem Hunt will make their team better, but not until week 9 or 10. And by then, I mean, I think we're all on the same page that Cleveland's offense is going to be exponentially better than what it was last year. So,
but barring a complete offensive line failure, I think they'll be very good offensively. Yeah. You never know. So that I lumped Kansas City and Pittsburgh together because both teams had underwhelming defenses last year. Pittsburgh's was obviously a little bit was better, and they both lost some of the best players on offense in divisions that were super tight last season. So I'm like, we always get worst to first, first to worst every year, and you could never see it coming. If we count either of these teams out, I feel like we're going to get burned. But it so much looks like they're going to be second fiddle this season. I don't know.
Well, who's in that other division with Kansas City? The Broncos.
Well, the Chargers were just as good last year.
Oh, the Chargers too. Yeah.
The Broncos and the Raiders.
Broncos and the Raiders. Okay.
Those teams.
Well, we know the Broncos aren't going to be going winning that division anytime soon. The Raiders, obviously, the jury's still out on that.
The Broncos obviously think they got something. They brought Flacco in.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. Well, are you picking them to win the division?
No, but they do have a very good defense. And I'd pick a team with better defense over offense any year, even though Kansas City proved me otherwise last season. So
I don't even know who Denver has in their offense anymore. C.J. Anderson's gone. They traded. I mean, is Emmanuel Sanders still there, or did he get traded last year? I don't even remember.
Had Lindsey.
Yeah, Philip Lindsay, but he's coming off an injury. Well, I mean, he'll be fine, but it's so funny. Another guy that ruined Bud's fantasy year last year.
So the LA Chargers.
They all got hurt in the week that I needed them to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust anybody in that division, I suppose. I don't trust anybody in the Pittsburgh division either. That's why, like, neither one of them seem like super worse off for it, even though they lost talent.
Here's a question for you. Did the Eagles get any better or worse this year so far?
They have, I mean, the only thing they got was Deshaun Jackson.
Well, you lost Nick Foles, so your security blanket is gone. So if Carson Wentz gets another boo-boo, you're screwed at quarterback. You're legitimately screwed because you don't have your safety net. You just lost Golden Tate, who's obviously a really competent receiver. Now you just have Alshon Jeffrey there.
Well,
I mean,
about that, Jackson. I think they're about the exact same. Which now the year before they got lucky and had a great defense and no injuries. This past season they had a lot of injuries. They're not marketably better or worse than the Cowboys, who are. I mean, I feel like the Giants and Redskins are both a step behind Dallas and Philadelphia right now until we see on the field product. But I don't like any of those teams to actually win anything.
Yeah. I mean, is there any team currently constructed that is head and shoulders above anybody in any of these divisions? Take the Patriots out because they're always there. But, I mean, we don't even know if with the Rams, if Todd Gurley's knee is going to be any good next year.
So I feel like the Rams and Saints both kept their successful core more or less together.
All right, I'll agree with that. But the Saints are now another year older, though. So that window is it's getting there. It's going like this.
Oh yeah.
I would say, I'm not sold on Minnesota. So maybe Chicago.
Yeah, no, they've kept it together too. They've
kept it together. And Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but without Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb playing at peak level, you kind of saw a little dip in his production.
Yeah. Basically, that's my point. Is that there's no team right now that going in, you're like, all right, they're clearly the favorite. It's just like a mosh of everybody at the moment.
I would say Cleveland.
Yeah.
They're going to be everyone's darling.
I know.
Which is crazy to say, but
you got to prove it to me.
So can you imagine if they win 6 or 7 games next year? No.
I could easily see it though.
Yeah, you could.
They could be 7 and 9.
What team is this that you're talking about?
I'm saying, could you imagine if Cleveland goes 7 and 9, 8 and 8 next year for whatever reason it ends up being? Injuries, just bad play, just not meshing. So many egos are going. They're meshing.
That owner, that organization, they just managed to F up everything. So nothing. I wouldn't be surprised. Somehow they find a way, at least historically. So
I don't know, right? So we were cut off last week when we were talking about the odds.
Yeah.
And I got off the phone and I looked it up, and right now Cleveland has the 5th best odds to win the Super Bowl, which is like, would you ever think they're 15-1?
Vegas is just goading people because there is no way. Like
the Jets are 40-1, and that's after the Bell signing.
That's pretty good. That's a wager. I mean, that's decent odds. But yeah, I mean, we really got to see the draft and injuries. Then you really get a sense in August. Right now, it's so hard to tell because we were dead wrong last year at this time about the league. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I picked Jacksonville to be in the Super Bowl last year. We see how that went.
Yeah. So they could. I mean, they're a team that could potentially bounce back. Fresh quarterback, healthy defense, healthy running game.
I'd be interested to see how Nick Foles does down there.
Yeah. I mean, they're only a year removed from 13-3, so
right.
It's always a possible on the table in that sense. They got a good pick. Yeah, I worry for Philly and Wentz because he did not bounce back from his injury last season like we would have hoped. And that's always a tough sign. Trying to think. I mean, I feel like I can identify the teams that are definitely rebuilding, but the teams that are going to be good is so hard to say just yet. Well, I had a non-football thought, unless you guys have any other thoughts on the current spot.
If you want to guess, where does Vontaze Burfict just sign?
Where?
Yeah.
New York Jets.
Nope. AFC though, and it's not Cleveland.
Is it the Patriots?
No, it's not the Patriots. Think of it. Think of a team. Think of a team that Vontaze Burfict would probably be perfect on.
Indy?
No.
Oh, they had money.
It's the Raiders. It's the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders. Okay.
I just saw that come over here. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Look at Phil. Breaking news.
Yeah. Breaking news. I'm Phil Schefter over here.
I like it.
Did you see that? Did you see that thing? It was a couple of days ago. They're interviewing Adam Schefter, and he's like, "Wait, I got to take this call." And he starts talking to the guy on the. I think this was what deal? Oh, this was with the Le'Veon Bell one. It was right before Le'Veon Bell signed. He's like, all right, it's 4 years, $56 million, or whatever it ended up being. But he literally took the call on the air.
Yeah, I think he must have it in his contract. That comes first.
that was fun to watch, but.
Well,
NFL news we got going on here.
Yeah, well, I wanted to throw out the Mike Trout deal because 12 years is a long contract. Projected $430 million with the Angels. I mean, he's been the face of their franchise for several years running. I think he likes that. They need to add some pieces if they're going to actually win a title there, but I'm not sure he cares. So, I mean, he cares.
So,
but you know what I mean.
So let me ask a question. So obviously we live on the East Coast. You live on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see any of Mike Trout playing on the East Coast.
None.
He's not really on Sunday Night Baseball. You know, you get to see him like when he plays the Yankees. I mean, like we're Yankees fans, so
okay.
You know, we see that, but you know, you don't really see him over here. He's a hell of a baseball player.
Yeah.
But you know, they want him to be the face of baseball, right? And he doesn't want to be.
No, I mean, that's not his personality. So, I mean, he's done a good job with it, but.
I mean, it's $38 million a year for 12 years.
I mean, I'd say he's worth every penny. The Angels are not worth going to see without him. So,
but they've never made the playoffs with him. And
that's not true. They got there at least 1 year.
Yeah, but they got swept.
Yeah.
Did they? Okay, well, irregardless, he hasn't won anything other than MVPs and just being.
No, I mean that's not how baseball works, though. You know that.
Yeah, I know, but.
So, well, here's a question. People are saying it's 12 years, but it's a 10-year extension because he had 2 years left. How many of these 10-year contracts actually were worth it for all 10 years? None of them.
No. But they're hoping for 5 to 7 good years. Is really what they're looking.
I know, but it's guaranteed money, though. That's the point. Bobby Bonilla gets a check every year.
Yeah.
So none of these. There's NFL. Obviously, there's no cap in baseball, and the NFL's got a hard cap, so you have to spend your money wisely. In baseball, you can just kind of fling your money wherever you want. But there's just because you're giving him all this money, it doesn't allow you to spend money at every position. So it's just a matter of all these teams that spent all these 10-year contracts. How many of them won a World Series?
well, very few. I think the Yankees pulled off one. But I was going to answer Bud's question. LA is a Dodgers town, especially since the Dodgers have been good. So you actually have to drive 45 minutes south into Orange County until it's getting remotely the Angels. But he is the face of that team. And so he is the LA Angels and has been since he got there. Now they added Ohtani last year, which was kind of like, right, they added Ohtani. And so like that was like a nice 1-2 punch, and like.
But he's not even going to play this year.
No, he's gonna hit. He'll bat for them. He just won't pitch. He's gonna bat for them. But I like it only because I think of the Angels when I think of Trout and vice versa. It's kind of nice to see someone stick with their team, kind of like Derek Jeter did their whole career. I mean, they had to pay him that and give him that guaranteed money, or he was going to leave. So. Oh
no, completely agree. They had to do that. You're 100% right about that.
But we get the Dodgers and we get the Angels, and they each have their own station they're on. I mean, Mike Trout doesn't do a lot of endorsements, otherwise he'd be in more stuff. I mean, Blake Griffin was literally everywhere when he was with the Clippers. He's completely disappeared now that he went. He was the face of Kia. Now he's not because he went to Detroit. So, like, the opportunities are here for Trout if he wants them. He obviously doesn't want them. But
yeah, LeBron was Kia for a while too. I think he took a spot.
Yeah, well, because they wanted somebody in a big market. But the reason that he's in Anaheim. They happen to be the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, but they're in Anaheim in Orange County, halfway between here and San Diego. So, like, if he was on the Dodgers, it'd be a different story. I think you'd see a lot more of him, if I had to guess.
Well, I think that was kind of their fear, is that if they didn't sign him now, that he might go down the street down to the Dodgers, and that would just be disastrous for them.
No, because he's a SoCal kid. I was not surprised he stuck around here. I think
he's from New Jersey, dude.
Oh, his whole energy. He's not from here. I thought maybe he played college ball out here or something.
Nah, he's
been here so long.
He's from South Jersey.
Oh, okay. But he's been here so long, I forget. I guess.
I guess that legal tampering by Bryce Harper didn't do enough for him to come to Philadelphia.
Guess not.
No, but Harper set a nice bar for his contract. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's just when are we going to see the first $500,000 contract? I mean, it's clearly right around the corner here. And who's going to get it? I don't know yet, but it's, I was saying when
that was what I was going to say. Judge is going to get.
Oh, Judge, yeah, Judge.
If Judge has another monster year, do you know Aaron Judge is making like $600,000?
Yeah.
I was just going to say he is so cheap right now in his rookie contract.
If he puts up another 40, 120 season like he has the last 2 years, I mean, he missed 6 weeks last year, and still put up 100 RBIs and 30-something home runs, and the Yankees still won 100 games last year. So if he had not broken his hand and was could they have beaten the Red Sox?
I don't know. If Gary Sanchez was healthy too, you don't know. It's tough.
I don't know. The Yankees are in trouble right now because they have all their pitching is shot right now. TC's hurt. And Betances just got put on the injury list.
I saw that, but we said the same thing this time last season.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, but no, they we'll see how we got to see how the new guys perform.
So did you complete your fantasy baseball draft yet? Because the season technically starts tomorrow morning.
We did it last night. It went 3.5 hours. It was a exciting affair. It's so tough with the auctions because you don't care about 90% of the bids going on.
So I don't do fantasy baseball because I can't invest. I invest so much time in the fall. There's no way I can do it in the spring too. But so what's the best spot? Do you go for pitching first? Do you go for hitting?
I've learned that you don't pay for pitching. Like you mean the things that people really pay for at draft time are relief pitching, because saves are so hard to come by, and there's only like a couple guys that are actually going to be good.
So pitchers are kind of like quarterbacks. You can grab the best one early, or you just wait.
Yeah, I'd honestly say if you pay too much for even the best pitcher, you're screwing yourself because they can get hurt. They don't play every day like the hitter. So I pay for
That's true.
I pay for the batters. I mean, I had Machado, Judge, and Mookie Betts as keepers. So those were 3 people I kept, and they were lower than they would have went in the auction. And
Mookie Betts is another one who's going to get paid too soon.
Yeah.
That's another guy we forgot off the list.
Yeah, he's more quiet, but I'm sure you hear a lot about him.
Look at Dan loading up in the AL East there.
Yeah, I always pick extra Yankees. I got Clint Frazier. I got just because you never know. It's more fun to root for your team that way. I can't.
You don't want to pick up Jacoby Ellsbury?
No, not this year. I got burned 2 seasons ago with him.
Nice. Well, good luck with. Isn't this is the one that you claim your brother wins every single year, right?
Yeah, we were all so thrilled that he did not win last season. It was a team victory for the league. That's the goal, to keep him out of first place again this season.
There you go.
And then we got March Madness starting tomorrow or Thursday. I got to make picks.
Well, technically tonight, but we don't count the first 4.
No. And my brother went to Virginia Tech, and so this is like one of the first years I can remember his Hokies were ranked very high. I think they got a 4 seed. So I'll be pulling for them personally.
Yeah, it's really tough not to pick a bracket that doesn't have Duke, Carolina, Virginia in the finals here. And that's the thing. You got to be contrarian, because if everyone's going to go one way, you want that upset, and you're going to you'll vault yourself to the top. It's really hard to. Todd and I picked our Final Four like 3 weeks ago just for fun, and it was basically like Duke, Virginia. I think he had Kansas and Kentucky because that was before they kind of fell on their faces. But I had Michigan State, who I think now has got a 2 seed after beating Michigan. So I saw them 3 weeks ago. You're going to lose without much chalk this year. It's pretty top heavy. But you might as well take your bracket and just go higher seed, higher seed, higher seed, higher seed. You'll probably do pretty well. Yep. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of similar brackets here. That's what I think. Well, I don't got much else. It's been a quiet NFL week, more or less. Yeah, that's the thing. We got such a gauntlet of stuff last week, which always happens to start a free agency. Now it's just it dries up so fast. So we're not gonna hear nothing until we start hearing draft talk. So thank God, like you said, March Madness is here, because I know. That's what's gonna carry you through to the. Maybe we'll do a March Madness show next week. Yeah, we'll basketball. I'll put up my bracket and see how many X's I have next week. Okay, we can compare. So I gotta pick. All right. Well, unless you guys got any final thoughts, that's all I got for today. I'm good for this week. All right. Well, it's been fun. We'll talk again next week. All right. Sounds good. Talk to you.
Thanks for watching Buzz Talk.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.